Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
Top 10 cities in Europe. My favorite, I don't know if it's a city or a town. It's probably Innsbruck that I've ever been to. Innsbruck, Austria. Paris is amazing. It's not overrated, even how highly rated it is. It just there's a certain feel that I got from Paris. It's just it was everything has like all these streets kind of come at you diagonally into like a star, and there are all these the classic like cafes and everything outside, and so many. I like seeing a lot of chairs outside of restaurants. Is that weird? Just outside areas. Brussels was awesome. Looked like I didn't spend a lot of time in these places, right? We kind of did a road trip around Europe, so anyways, I'm curious what this is going to be. And let me know if you agree.
Top 10 cities in Europe. Some of the most fascinating cities in the world are in Europe. You will be able to experience the romantic vibes in Paris and feel the warm and welcoming atmosphere of Florence, for example. Almost the entire continent is filled with picturesque landscapes, excellent architecture, and some of the most lip-smacking dishes. For a fact, it will be extremely difficult to determine the topmost among European cities. This is partly due to differences in the individual's interests, tastes, and freaks. Regardless of whatever your choice is, here are the top 10 cities in Europe.
Yeah, I'm kind of boring with nightlife stuff. I don't really care about nightlife. I want to see, like, are there a lot of cool museums? Is it just a cool looking city to walk around in? And nature would be cool if there's kind of a more non-city feel to it, I guess.
10. Madrid. This is a city that has seen a significant increase in tourism in recent years. The best we can say about Madrid is that individuals who visit it fall in love with it because of its wonderful and welcoming attitude. Despite its vast size, the capital and largest city in Spain is very pleasant to visit, thanks to the majority of the city's legacy and points of interest that are concentrated in its historic core.
Love the Spanish flag.
Various areas around Madrid, designated as World Heritage Sites, can be visited in a day. The medieval city of Toledo, known as the City of the Three Cultures, was a place where Muslims, Jews, and Christians lived side by side for centuries. It is considered a must-see on any trip to Europe. 9.
Can I just go back for a sec? I had to pull up a thing.
Core. Various areas around Madrid, designated as World Heritage Sites, can be visited in a day. The medieval city of Toledo, known as the City of the Three Cultures, was a place where Muslims, Jews, and Christians lived side by side for centuries. It is considered a must-see on any trip to Europe.
I just watched a video on the Reconquista.
9. Barcelona. Because of its modernist architecture, the city of Barcelona is one of the most desirable destinations in the world. It is 372 miles from Madrid, but it takes less than an hour by plane, with flights virtually every hour.
That's fascinating. All of these blocks looks really cool, and then they're really long straightaway.
From Madrid, but it takes less than an hour by plane, with flights virtually every hour. Alternatively, you may use the fast train, the AVE, which takes 3 hours. It is the site where Antoni Gaudi created some of his masterpieces, which draw millions of visitors each year and contribute to the distinctive urbanism of the city. However, there are also more noteworthy areas, such as the Gothic Quarter with its Gothic cathedral.
Looks so cool. It has like a wet sand you ever do those like at the beach, like when you have wet sand and you make a drip castle?
The stunning Cathedral of the Sea. If you have the opportunity to travel outside of Barcelona, the Montserrat Monastery, which is one of the most visited sites, is a worthwhile stop. 8. Rome. There are regular flights from Barcelona to Rome, and you may be in the old city of Rome in less than 2 hours if you choose. Rome, the Italian capital, is one of the most important empires in human history, has retained an astonishing amount of its historical legacy. This largest city in the country is enormous, and you'll need at least 2 days to see everything, especially if you want to add a visit to the Vatican City. It appears to be a marvel that huge structures such as the Roman Colosseum...
Question, the Vatican City is a different country, right? Do you need a passport to go in, or... All right, sorry. Also, the Colosseum, I was so confused with the center area here. I was like, how did they fight here? But this was there's a platform on top of this area, and this was just like the understage area. Is that right? Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
And the Pantheon of Agrippa have remained to this day after more than 2,000 years. If you want to take time to see everything, you need to sign up for an excursion or guided tour because the city is so big and has so many places to see. 7. Florence. Florence is another one of those places in Italy that you must see if you're planning a vacation to Europe. It is the birthplace of the Renaissance and one of those places that will surprise you by giving you more than you bargained for, and to which you would gladly return again and again. The best way to get to Florence from Rome is by train. It takes a little over an hour to reach the heart of this one of the top 10 cities in Europe. There is one visit that you must do whether you are visiting Florence or if you are coming from Florence. You must approach Pisa and climb to the top of its leaning tower. Additionally, the magnificent village of San Gimignano, a beautiful town with ancient towers, and the famed Piazza del Campo in Siena are both highly recommended excursions. If you are short on time, you can still see Florence in one day and then go on a trip the next day to get to know some of the hidden gems of the lovely area of Tuscany that surround it. 6. Venice.
Jesus!
A little more than...
I've never been to Spain or France, and I've never been to Spain or Italy. I would very much like to go, but so far, all just Spain and Italy.
310 miles from Rome is a city of canals where there are no automobiles and where only boats to go about. Venice is always swarming with tourists, which is understandable given that it is one of the most beautiful and romantic towns on the planet. You will spend...
My parents had gone there, and they said it was great and it was beautiful, but that it was really hard to... Shoot, what did they say? They said the only thing was that it was a little difficult. I'm not saying that they had a bad time. They loved it. I just remember this one thing that I wonder if anyone's been there. That it's just like there are no classic American thing to say. Like there aren't a lot of... Listen, I can't even remember enough to paraphrase what they said, but something about it being a little difficult to travel very far. I guess. Just forget what I said. I can't even remember, right?
Most of your time at the Piazza San Marco, which contains a stunning basilica in Byzantine architecture, and on the Grand Canal, where you will finish your tour with a gondola ride through the canals. A visit to the Italian city of Venice can be completed in 2 days. If you have an extra day, the Vaporetto journey down the Venetian lagoon to the islands of Murano, Burano and Torcello is highly recommended. 5. Berlin. To travel along the planned path, you must use an aircraft, as this is the most expedient mode of transportation to reach the heart of Europe. After a little more than an hour and a half, you would arrive in Berlin, and after 2 hours, you would arrive in Amsterdam. As a result, you should only consider visiting the German capital if you're planning a long-term journey that will allow you to spend at least 2 days there.
Yeah, we drove from, we went to Heathrow, then we went to the Channel to France, to Normandy, to Omaha Beach, visit great uncle's grave. And then we went up into Brussels, into Belgium, and then into the Netherlands to Amsterdam, and then down Germany. But we didn't go towards Berlin. We went into the, we went southeast into Germany, and then Frankfurt, I think we passed through. We didn't stay there, and then went towards Munich, and then into Austria.
Lots and lots of best sites to visit in Berlin. You just have to know about tours and excursions there. A visit to Berlin in Germany may afford you the opportunity to visit another major Central European cities such as Budapest, Vienna, Warsaw, Krakow or Munich, in addition to Prague, if you have the time on the days of your vacation.
Prague would be cool.
4.
The only thing about... It's just, for some reason, when I think Berlin, I just imagine that a lot of stuff must have gotten destroyed in World War II. And so... I love Prussian history, early German history, and Otto von Bismarck, stuff like that. So I'd love to go towards, see where more of the heartland of early Germany was.
Prague. All right, let's just take that opportunity to talk about Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic. In reality, Prague and each of the towns mentioned earlier have sufficient justification to be included in the tour of the heart of the European continent.
Yeah, heart
For
of
example, in Prague, which is a genuine fairy tale city, you will see the greatest corners located in the Old Town Square. The Charles Bridge and the grounds of Prague Castle, where the castle is located, are other places tourists are dying to visit. The cathedral is a beautiful structure. Once you are able to achieve your tour of Prague, you are in good stead to visit places like Karlovy Vary and Český Krumlov, which are both breathtakingly gorgeous.
It is just so Europe, center Europe, quintessentially European country, and it's. I feel that not only geographically center, but kind of culturally center. Am I insane here, guys? I don't want to act as if I'm smart in this area. I'm not. I'm just speaking in my mind, so I could be wrong. Let me know if you think I am, please. But geographically, very much the center of Europe. But also, just culturally, it seems like it's... If you go east of Prague, I feel like or east of Czechia, you're going into Eastern Europe. West, you're going into Western Europe. And it just feels like encapsulating all of Europe more than just an area. I hope that made sense.
3. Amsterdam. We shouldn't allow our
the
tour
first
of
place
Berlin
I've
or
been.
Venice to crowd up the gorgeous city of Amsterdam. While
the
there,
list.
you will discover Amsterdam is also notable for its canals. It's just that they are different from those in the Italian capital and located in an area of Europe where it is quite difficult to see a hill or mountain. Amsterdam.
Yep. So when I was there, like, I'm right here on a bike, right? Okay. You following me? And I'm riding kind of like a lunatic. I'm just like, oh my God, it's a bike ride. And then a Dutch woman behind me, I hear, this isn't Disneyland. And then she goes by me and I'm all embarrassed because she just knew I was an American right away, spoke English. I'm not saying that she wouldn't know English. Everyone knows English in Netherlands. They seem like they do. It's just that people have places to go. It's not, I'm an American, like, biking, right? I'm dumb.
In an area of Europe where it is quite difficult to see a
Isn't
hill or
Disneyland.
mountain.
Sorry.
Amsterdam is a magnificent city full of flowers and mills between canals, and where, among other things, you can visit the Van Gogh Museum. These
been.
are a must-see if you
It's
enjoy
cool.
the work of this artist. It's also one of the world's most environmentally conscious cities. Bicycles and boats reign supreme on its streets and waterways. An additional advantage is that you are located in one of the
This would have been better. So here I am, I guess.
on its
Never mind.
streets and waterways.
I'll stop.
An additional advantage is that you are located in one of the most well-served railway zones in Europe, which allows you to swiftly and easily travel to other Dutch towns, such as The Hague or even Belgium, which are just a few hours away. It is also worthwhile to spend a day travelling outside of the city to nearby places such as Volendam, Zaanse Schans and Giethoorn, where you can explore rural Holland.
This right here is one of the reasons why Europe is so special and cool to me, is that you have so many of these areas where the car is the afterthought. It's like, it's not like vroom, vroom, car, and then a few people trying to cross the road or whatever and separated by a giant wide street. It just looks so much more alive and vibrant when you have a bunch of these smaller in-between streets.
It is also worthwhile to spend a day travelling outside of the city to nearby places such as Volendam, Zaanse Schans and Giethoorn, where you can explore rural Holland. 2. Paris. The Eiffel Tower, the Louvre Museum,
So
and a
awesome.
thousand more delightful nooks that have made Paris one of the most visited cities in the world year after year is among the topics we will discuss with you.
Love it. Paris is awesome. It's one of the, so I've only been to Europe twice, okay? Once was in, I think it was 2006, I think. And so I was born in 93, so I was 13 years old the first time I went. I don't remember that much. I sort of remember visiting Normandy and seeing my relative's grave. But I vividly remember Paris both times. And then I went again to Europe with my dad and brother. This is probably such an old story to so many of you, like, oh, here he goes, only story he has to tell. It's because I've only been to Europe like twice, right? And so the next time was probably 10 years after that, when I was maybe, like 23, 22, maybe 8, 9, 10 years after that. And just Paris, you don't need to go anywhere to show to be like, see how cool Paris is. You're just there, and it's awesome. Okay, it's awesome. Amazing buildings, beautiful. It's just a beautiful city. Like, you don't have to. It's just so beautiful. That's all I have to say. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful city. And luckily, maybe it rains more, but each time I've been there, it was a beautiful day. And it is so highly held up, but it is not over-exaggerated how great the city is, in my opinion.
In the world, year after year, is among the topics we will discuss with you. Paris is known as the City of Love. The Seine River Tour is a must-do when in Paris, and you should make the most of your time there. The train is the most convenient mode of transportation if you're travelling from the Flanders region, since you will be in the heart of the French city in a short time. Gastronomy is also highly valued in Paris, and you won't be let down as you will be bombarded with choices when you arrive. 1. London.
Love this building, by the way. Not a fan of the walkie-talkie one. Is that what you guys call it? The egg one's okay, but the Shard, right? Really like the look of this building. London as number 1. Yes. I don't see how it's higher than Paris, but both times I was in London, it was really just a stopping way to go to Europe, And so I haven't spent enough time and gone to enough places in London to really say.
And as the last destination, we propose that you complete your journey in London, which is arguably the most cosmopolitan city in Europe. Entering Great Britain means entering a place where you will get a different view of Europe. The first thing that will capture your notice is driving on the left. London is distinguished by its red double-decker buses, traditional matching colour phone booths, and famous buildings. All of this and many more combine to make London one of the top 10 cities in Europe. We hope that the top 10 cities that we have proposed will be beneficial to you in planning your vacation, either in the order that we have suggested or according to your circumstance. We know you'll love other cities. Please tell us in the comment section below, which other cities do you think are the top cities in Europe?
I'm surprised he didn't do anything in Denmark or Norway or Sweden. Like Malmo or Gothenburg or Copenhagen or Oslo or something like that. I've never been there, so maybe they're just not as good as these, but it just felt like the first 5 ones, or first 4 or 5, were all just Spanish and Italian ones. That there wasn't anything in the Balkans or really of Eastern Europe, and none of the Nordic countries. And maybe that's just, I'm not saying that you have to ignore other cities that might be better just to have a more inclusive list. So that's fair. Most dangerous places to live in England? Maybe I'll check that out after. All right, hope you guys are doing well. Would love to see your thoughts on the video or just what I said. If I said anything wrong, maybe, good possibility. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.